You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Titus with Dan Irvin.
This is Kurt Bjorklund. Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. Today, Titus 3, and Dan Irvin, who serves as our campus pastor, our Strip District campus, and is part of a great staff team here at Orchard Hill, will be leading our time. Enjoy.
Well, here in verses 8 through 11 now in Titus chapter 3, we see Paul imploring his followers, imploring Titus to remember to live in a way that points to the goodness of God, that points to Christ, to live in a way that's excellent and profitable. In verse 8, it says this is a trustworthy saying, pointing back to his gospel poem in verses 4 through 7. This is a trustworthy saying, and I want to stress these things so that those who have trusted in God may be careful to devote themselves to doing what is good. These things are excellent and profitable for everyone. Those who have trusted in God, devoting themselves to doing good. So here we see Paul, who just a verse earlier in verse 7 emphasized that because of the generosity of Christ, we have been justified by grace, made right, heirs of eternal life, by grace, not of our own works, but by what God has done for us. And now here he's saying, do good. So which one is it? Is there a counter or something going on here that contradicts one another? And I don't think so. The important distinction here is not that doing good is gaining us merit or favor or salvation from God, but by doing good, it will actually benefit, bring about something for the entire community. Excellence, profitability, doing what is good is excellent and profitable. You know, as a pastor, one thing that often happens from time to time is people will come up to me maybe it's after a message, or maybe it's just in the lobby after church, and they'll thank me and they'll say, thanks for that message, or thanks for, what you're doing or what's going on around here. And, even in my family, extended family, they're like, oh, it's such a great, you're a pastor, that must be so great. And you're doing such good, important work. Not disagreeing with that. And, but underneath this, perhaps I think there might be a sense of, well, there's certain jobs, maybe it's a pastor, maybe it's a teacher, a first responder, or someone in the medical community, fill in the blank. But there's certain jobs that are more important than others because of what they're bringing to society. These jobs have a higher value. And then you might be thinking, okay, well, what about my job? My job is not something that's, people don't even know what I do. I go to an office and maybe it's, you're working behind the scenes on something, and you're an accountant, you're an engineer, you're making things happen, but it's lesser known, perhaps, what you're doing. And maybe you feel like you just go and you clock in, you clock out. And, if that job of yours can be looked at as an opportunity to advance the gospel in some way, to provide something for society that provides profitability, that provides the flourishing of the community, then it can be a God-honoring job, whatever it is that you're doing. In Tim Keller's book, he wrote a book years ago called Every Good Endeavor. And in this book, he says this. He says, everyone will be forgotten. Nothing we do will make any difference. And all good endeavors, even the best, will come to naught, unless there is a God. If the God of the Bible exists, and there is a true reality beneath and behind this one, and this life is not the only life, then every good endeavor, even the simplest ones, pursued in response to God's calling, can matter forever. This idea that everything that we do, every job that we have, even outside of our vocations, every act that we do can provide something for people, for society, and doing good. Not that we're trying to earn God's favor, but that we're trying to contribute because of what God has done for us. We're so moved by that it draws us to a place where we say our work, our life, is no longer about what we can gain for ourselves, but rather what we can give a way to other people to help society, to help a community. And that is what Paul is trying to impart here in this community of early believers, saying if your lives can make such a difference that you can look out in society and say, I am contributing to something that is far greater than myself. And I'm contributing in a way that is providing something that is pointing people towards the gospel, the goodness of who God is.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.